hymns here this evening.
Well, all right. This one's sort of unusual tonight. And you won't have to look this one up in your hymnal. It's not in there. It's so old. And I have no idea who wrote the song. But we've kind of talked in the past a little bit about American spirituals. And some would call them Negro Spirituals. They were pre-Civil War songs. The workers out in the field would sing these songs. Nobody recorded who wrote them or anything like that. They didn't have any instruments. So we'll kind of do it a cappella tonight. And it's kind of catchy. I hope it, and it's really got a message to it. So I hope it's a blessing to you. But these spirituals were songs written and sung by workers and slaves back before the Civil War primarily. Now you'll recognize some of them. Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, Children Go Where I Send Thee, Were You There? Song that Brother Dean, Miss Robin, and myself sung around Easter time. And the author of most of these songs are unknown. And in many hymnals, if you find them, the author will read unknown or just traditional. Well, one man in particular didn't write a lot of these songs, but he collected them and all these old hymns, and then he took these hymns and he gave them to other singers of the era. This was late 1800s, early 1900s. His name, by the way, was Harry Burleigh, and he was a classically trained singer, composer, arranger, and even professional vocalist. And as I say, he just collected these songs and kind of gave them new life and brought them back. I found some sheet music to some of these that was written after the fact, and some of them had been put to instrumentation and things like that. In 1894, Mr. Burleigh became a member of a church in New York City. And by the way, I thought this was interesting. In 1894, Civil War, of course, had ended about 30 years before that. But Mr. Burleigh was joining this church, but it was an all-white church, and there was some opposition to him being a member of that church. But one man cast the deciding vote, and that was someone, I didn't jot down his name, he was a well-known banker of the time, and then Mr. Burleigh not only became a member there, but he became friends with each and every member of that church as well. He was always singing solos and singing many of these spirituals. And by the way, a lot of these spirituals were taught to him by his grandfather. Some of them he didn't even find the written words to. His grandfather taught them to him, and he would sing them and that kind of thing. But anyway, I can imagine hearing these songs out in the field when the cotton's being picked, or when the hay is being brought in, the tobacco being planted, as these songs were singing all over the countryside. And these really are jewels in the hymn world. And I thought about this when I was thinking about this song. Is, you know, my mother made quilts, and of course she just used different squares, different cloth, different colors, different patterns, and each square of the quilt might be completely different in Mom's quilts. But when you backed up and looked at it, it was a work of art. And that's the way some of these songs are. Some of these old hymns, these spirituals are. They kind of make up the tapestry of gospel music during a time when there were many more people being saved, unfortunately, than we see today. This was the backdrop. This was the soundtrack of many of these old songs. And I want to say one more thing, and then we'll try to do this song. Now, I'm going to sing it the way it's written. So some of these words, you know, I'm singing it genuine to the lyrics. We say that, T-H-A-T. They said dat. Dat. That's what they would say. I'm going to sing it the way that the author of this song wrote it, because he was obviously a child of God. But the spiritual songs were interesting as I started listening to them and kind of getting to know this song. And there was a cadence to these songs. You know, the military, 1, 2, 3, 4, or hup, 2. Well, these songs, this one's in 4/4 timing, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you want to keep time patting on the seat like that, you can. I don't know why everything went wonky all of a sudden. Is that echoing too much up there? I don't know what happened. I clapped and it messed it up. I'm on channel 1.
Powerful clap.
Powerful clap or something.
Better?
Yes, thank you, sir. So this song goes like this. I'll kind of do a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, 3. I got a home in that rock, oh, don't you see? I got a home in that rock, oh, don't you see? Between the earth and sky, thought I heard my Savior cry. I got a home in that rock, oh, don't you see? I thank God for that rock, don't you see? I thank God for that rock, oh, don't you see? I thank God for that rock just beyond the mountain top. I got a home in that rock, oh, don't you see? There is love in that rock, oh, don't you see? There is love in that rock, oh, don't you see? There is love in that rock just beyond the mountain top. I got a home in that rock, oh, don't you see? Poor man Lazarus, poor as I, oh, don't you see? Poor man Lazarus, poor as I, oh, don't you see? Poor man Lazarus, poor as I, when he died, he found a home on high. Had a home in that rock, oh, don't you see? Rich man Dives lives so well, oh, don't you see? Rich man Dives lives so well, oh, don't you see? Rich man Dives live so well, when he died he done went to hell. Had no home in that rock, oh, don't you see? God gave Noah that rainbow sign, don't you see? God gave Noah that rainbow sign, oh, don't you see? God gave Noah that rainbow sign, no more water but fire next time. I got a home in that rock, oh, don't you see? Jesus Christ is that rock, oh, don't you see? Jesus Christ is that rock, oh, don't you see? Jesus Christ is that rock just beyond the mountain top. Better get a home in that rock, oh, don't you see?